Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to this midweek review with Mr. John. I am Mr. John, and we have been kind of talking about parables, stories Jesus would tell to crowds like he would tell shepherds. He would tell them stories that they would truly understand and grasp the meaning of beyond what Jesus was saying about the sheep, right? He's talking about 100 sheep, one gets lost. The shepherd leaves the 99 and goes to find the others, and the shepherd knows exactly what he's talking about because sheep are sheep. Sheep will tend to stay together because they're too afraid to leave the pack. If one is missing, the shepherd knows that if he leaves the 99, he can go and find the one sheep and bring it back. And then they realize that this story had more meaning about people that may be lost to the faith, and we are to go find them. Well, the story we have today is another parable that Jesus is telling to maybe farmers, okay, or maybe even business type people, okay. So there's this farmer. He owns this big plot of land, and he has got a bumper crop of grapes getting ready to be harvested, and he realizes that he doesn't have enough help. So he goes into town, and hanging around the town square are a few people. And this is how they used to do it. You'd hang around the town square, and farmers or people would come up and hire you for the job. And then they would take you to that job, and then they pay you. Well, the farmer goes into town. He finds these people. They agree on a term of payment, and that payment is 1 denarii. I have no clue how much a denarii is, but let's look at this in figures that we can understand. $100. He says, you come and pick grapes for today. I'll pay you at the end of the day. I'll pay you $100. So he takes them back to the farm, and they proceed to cut the grapes, and they're putting them into baskets. And soon the farmer looks and he sees that, oh, wow, we're not getting very far very fast. I need to go back into town. So about 9 a.m.-ish, the first group he got probably before the sun came up, early in the morning. He goes back in. It's about 9. He goes in and he grabs some more people, and he says, listen, come and pick grapes at my farm. I will pay you what is fair. So 9 o'clock comes, then it rolls around to be noon, and he looks out. Oh, wow, we're still lagging behind kind of, So he goes back into town, and he grabs even more people, brings them back, tells them he'll pay them what's fair, and they begin. He does this at 3 o'clock. And then at 5, he goes in, he grabs, this is close to the end of the day, he goes, he grabs a bunch more people, he brings them back to the farm, and he gets the job done. They work about an hour, the guys they hired at 5, but they worked hard, and they got the grapes in. So they got all the grapes harvested, and the farmer says, well, I did make a deal with these guys, and I need to pay them. So he calls the guys that he grabbed at 5 o'clock, and he brings them up, and he says, okay, he lines them up, and he begins they hold out their hand, and he proceeds to give them their money. He gives them 1 denarii. Remember, that we were talking about it as being $100. He gives them $100. And so they walk out. They're really happy. The 3 o'clockers come in. He pays them 1 denarius. And he gives them that $100. They go on. And on down the line, he goes. He pays everybody the same amount. Now, the guys who started before the sun came up, not the happiest that they got the same amount as the people who only worked for an hour. They got $100. And they start to go, come on, man, you're ripping us off. You cheated us, And the farmer just kind of, whoa. I met you this morning. We had conversation. I told you what the work was. I told you the amount I would pay you, and we came to a deal. Are you envious of me because I have money? Or are you jealous because I am generous to the others? And now, when we hear this story, we kind of may go, wow, it doesn't seem fair that he paid. But God is saying this story is not about money. He is talking about our faith and our salvation. Okay, this is what Jesus is talking about. Listen, there's some people that like I teach on Sunday mornings, and I have kids who absolutely know who Jesus is and have come to trust him as their savior. That would be like the guys that he went into town early in the morning before the sun came up, and he brings them to the farm. These kids have known Christ from the beginning, early on, knowing who Jesus is, trusting in him, and having the right to have a life in heaven for eternity from an early age. Now, I also do youth group. I have a youth recently tell me that he has accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. And so he would be kind of like that group he met kind of in the middle of the day, right? Kind of in that, or maybe around noonish, right? He comes in, the farmer goes out around noon looking for more people to help. And this person decides he's going to help at that time. He, in that afternoon, comes to know who Jesus is. He, as a teenager, learns who Jesus is, trusts him, and is willing to follow him for the rest of his life, to live forever in eternity, right? And then there's guys, well, I hate to say it, guys, if you know, we've talked about this before, and I don't hate to talk about it, really, because I love to talk about it, me. I didn't come to know Jesus Christ as my Savior till I was about 30. I'm kind of that guy who came on the job at 5 in the evening, and I have only known Jesus for a short time. That one, maybe, we look at time as this period, but it's really a short time that I've known Jesus, an hour. But God sits there and says, listen, I'm not going to sit there and make somebody do something different for eternity. If you accept me for who I am, if you accept what I am giving you and trust in me, you all will get the same thing in heaven. So guys, a lot of times we can look at stuff like maybe your brother gets an extra portion of dessert, that maybe your favorite dessert, and you just get a smaller portion. And your mom says, hey, listen, I've got a reason why I'm doing this, but you pitch a fit. You get angry about it because he's getting more of my favorite dessert. And then the next night you kind of sit down for dinner and you notice your brother or sister's not there. And you have a huge portion of your favorite dessert on your plate. And your mom goes, I told you, you threw all this fit yesterday for no reason. I told you I had a reason for giving the dessert. Your brother, he's at camp. And I wanted to give him last night's portion and tonight's portion of the meal, of the dessert. He loves this dessert too. It is his favorite too. So I didn't want to be unfair. God's saying in this moment, doesn't matter when you come to know me, I'm not going to be unfair. I'm going to open up the gates of heaven and everybody gets to come in and enjoy the same thing. And that's a great promise that God gives us. I hope this kind of helps in your mind. Some of the parables that Jesus tells, they were meant to tell people about the Father, but they were also to disguise. Because remember, the Pharisees are coming after Jesus hard. They want to find him slip up. They're gonna charge him with any crime they can find, and he has to disguise his stories in a way that the Pharisees might not truly understand what he's talking about, but the people Jesus is talking to, absolutely do. And that's the reason why he came up with these parables. So guys, verse is coming up next. I hope you're having a great month. Next week we'll talk about another one of these parables. Have a good one. Bye. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8.